Okay, we are back, and we're back in the kitchen, so to speak. We're going to be using this theme of making brownies. If you remember correctly, on Blackboard, I have a section under, let's see, I think it was under course content, making brownies, and we're going to be building this. This is going to be an iterative process, and a couple of times throughout the process, I'm going to have you turn something in as an assignment, just don't know where yet. So please keep on top of this. This to me is really important. So make sure and I'll let you know when a new Brownies segment is up and out. So now, you've already done this, hopefully. You've downloaded the Brownies zip file from here. You've created a version of it called Brownie and a version of it called PPP. And you might have even created a version of it, I think somewhere I suggest that you create right here, my project. And matter of fact, I'm going to do something. Okay, you can see what I just did is bolded those things, those folder names. So you should have that. Now, if we pull up just Windows Explorer, and as you know, I'm working on my E drive, and go to XAMPP. I have not started my XAMPP host yet, just to let you know. htdocs. You can see that, excuse my coughing, I've been fighting something bad for the last couple of days. We have a Brownie folder and we have a PPP folder. The Brownie folder is purely for reference. Don't touch it, don't do anything with it. This way you know how it was originally. You double click into it, and if you were to click the index.html page, what will happen is the web page will in fact run. Browser will appear, and you can see all of the different elements within the page. Now what's interesting is, if you notice here, it's like typography, single blog post, pricing with 4 columns, portfolio details. These are all individual web pages, and if you've already looked at this, in the Brownie folder, you see blog HTML, blog single HTML, contact, elements, full width, portfolio, portfolio 3, portfolio 4, pricing. These are all the pages that are getting pulled up. And you don't want to, even in the modified version, we're not going to rename these files. I think we're going to probably rename index to org, so we'd have 2 copies of that. But we're not going to rename these files and keep them on our website. But we're going to do all the work that will help make our lives easier with this. So now, as you see that the Brownie htdocs, Brownie index HTML, the web pages, everything's working fine. Now, if I go back to htdocs, PPP for Paul's Pet Palace, basically I have the exact same thing happening. Double click on that, and I now get the Brownie template again with all the same pages. However, you can see that I'm in the PPP folder. Okay, so now htdocs folder, PPP folder. The first thing I want to do to change my HTML code to PHP is to rename it. Now remember, we don't have XAMPP working right now, but if I'm in PPP, my pages are working. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do, come on, move, is to rename every one of these files. And so highlight it, F2, and I want you to rename just the extension to PHP. And it pops up, hey, you might not like that, but sure, I want you to do this to every file. Wait a minute. Okay, so now you can see that I've renamed all of the pages to .php, and back when everything was in the PPP folder, pricing, 4 columns, HTML, the browser worked because for basic HTML pages, you do not need a web server or the PHP interpreter running. But watch what happens when I click on index.php in my PPP folder. Double click on it, and I just got run up to Notepad because nothing out there knows what to do with this, and I've got all of this code out here. So for me to get this code to work, I actually have to have the PHP interpreter running, and I have to have the web server running. So let's pull up XAMPP. I don't know what it is, but my mouse just won't grab stuff. There we go. And let's start the Apache server. Okay, so the Apache server is up and running. Move that out of the way. Now let's pull up a browser. And let's go to localhost and find the PPP folder. And you can now see that my index page is working. And if I go to other pages, so say if I go to typography, object not found because it's looking for typography.html. So remember what we just did is that, let's see, where is my Explorer? We just renamed all of these files to .php. But what happened was all the links within the pages didn't get renamed, so it's still looking for the HTML. Now I want you to think about a real serious problem here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 web pages that were HTML, now PHP, but 15 web pages. And with those 15 pages, my boss comes to me and says, I want you now to add 4 more pages. So I might copy a couple of these pages, but then I have to go into every single page and I have to change the menu item to now add the new 4 pages that I've just added. So if I had a site of 50 pages, and what I did was add a single page, and every one of my 50 pages had menu links to all of the site pages, I would have to go throughout the whole HTML, every single file, and add that new menu link. That's really not too convenient at all. So let's see how we can solve this problem. Now we're going to have a little bit of work to do up front here, but once this work is done once, it's going to make our life much easier. And you're going to learn a principle called includes that will really help this. So I'm going to right-click right now, and I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm just going to call it INC. So right here we have a CSS folder, something to use with the contact page, images, and an INC folder. So let's hold on to that. And, excuse me, now let's get NetBeans going. And as you know, I'm learning NetBeans kind of alongside of you as well. So some of you might even know quicker ways to do things than I do as I kind of plow through it. So remember here, the index page is working, but something like typography that link to typography HTML is not working. Where's my NetBeans link? There's NetBeans, hidden way over here. So now let's go File, Open Project, and htdocs, PPP. Let's see, actually File New Project. File New Project. It's a PHP project. Come on, where's the link? It was File, Open Project. I had to go back and click Open Project and Open Project.
Didn't they surprise everyone in Wisconsin?
It's looking for a project. It looks like I have to create a project in order to open that. You guys probably already know this, and I'm looking like a fool. Okay, here we go. File, New Project. Click on the folder. Click on Next. Okay, now we're going to browse, and I'm going to get down to my folder in XAMPP, htdocs, PPP, open that, 5.6, put NetBeans Meta. So I think this makes sense, put NetBeans Meta into a separate directory. Warning folders is not underneath the meta. No, let's not. Okay, so just, and then let's call this PPP for Paul's Pet Palace, project name, and then hit next. Ron has local website running on local web server. Project URL is localhost PPP. We're not copying any files from another location, so we're good. Hit next. Framework. I don't know if we've been using frameworks or not. Not at this point, so let's just click next and then finish. Okay, so now we have all of our files available to us in the PPP project. And what we want to do is in this includes folder here, okay, we need to add a couple of files. So I'm going to right click on the includes folder that we created and say new PHP file, and we're going to call it header.include. We're going to create another one called new file, and we're going to call it footer.include. And let's create another new file called menu.include. And let's create a new file called config.include. Okay, so one of the things we notice on our web page is that this footer section and this header section and menu is all the same on every single page. So what I'd like to do is right here, I'm looking at the index.php page for the PPP folder. That's this guy right here. I'm in the PPP folder, index.php page. And what I'm going to do is come down to the bottom and see on line 213, I'm going to take and cut that entire piece of code out, save, okay, I'm going to put foot here, and I'm going to go to the footer include file, and add that code there, And what's interesting here is this footer code is just really pure HTML, so it's really not doing anything at all. I think I'll close that PHP tag, get rid of these comments, don't care about that. And so now I have the footer information in there. And I take a look, there's a little menu down at the bottom here. And notice this menu down at the bottom has all the files with .html. So that's an easy quick fix to now take all these HTML in this footer.include Now, what's interesting here is that the designer of this page decided to not use all of the menu items in the footer, but the ones that they thought were the most important. The top menu bar has all of the items in it, but we do want to get these over to PHP extensions. So we'll save that in the footer. But what do we do about the fact that back here in our index page that it's gone? Okay, so right where we had temporarily put the word foot here, type this code, starting PHP tag, ending PHP tag, and then a line of PHP code. Include the command single quote INC referencing the includes folder we created and the name of the file, footer.include, close the quote, and a semicolon. And so now what's happening is in this index.php file, by putting this here, it's going to pull that code in automatically. So this code here from footer include will now appear there. Now, let's go ahead and guess what we're going to do about the header section. So let's come up to the top, and then I see there's a header class. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do here, because I know where I'm going to go, I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to add a line of code right there. So let's go down to the very bottom, and let's copy this include right here. Control C, the footer include. Let's copy that, and right after the body tag, let's put that there. And then obviously what we're going to do is change the word footer to header. Now we need to grab everything that's in the header. So we come down here and we're looking for the start of the header class, and then it looks like it stops right here. So Control X, go now to the header include file, close off that tag for now, put all of the header stuff in there, get rid of this junk here, and then save everything. Now we notice in the header is all of this menu stuff, master nav, and this is where we were getting all the errors for our pages having the wrong extension. So I think you know where we're going to go with this, and that what we're going to do is I'm going to actually keep the nav bar tags there, and I'm going to add, whoops, let's see, go back to my index page. I'm going to grab the header include, go into my header, let's just go here, and I'm going to change this to menu include. And there may be an error. We'll see if this happens because of the relative pathing. But highlight that and grab everything that's in the nav bar, delete it, or put it in your queue with a Control X. Go to menu include, and then add that there. close off the PHP tags. That's just a filler right now, and that should all be fine. Now in the menu, we have to change all of the HTML tags to .php. So if I go File, Find, where did the window appear? Let's see. Edit, Replace. Okay, it's all down there. So I'm going to find .html. I'm going to replace it with .php, and I'm going to replace all. So now everything, all of the pages are now the links are .php instead of .html. Let's save everything. And then, so now what we have is we have an index page looking at a header include and looking at a footer include. And we have a header include file, and the header include file is looking at a menu include, and I got to see if that's going to work, the referencing, and the footer include. All the HTMLs have been changed to PHPs, and then the menu is .php. Everything's been put into there. So now, if I run this program, I'm going to refresh the page. I see that I still have my footer, I still have my header, and I still have my menu. And if I click on typography, it goes to the right pages. Portfolio 3. Oh, it looks like that one's looking for an HTML. I wonder why that happened there. I wonder if that link is referencing another menu item. So we have to see what's going on with the menus. Pages, pages, pages. Those all look good. Portfolio. I wonder if it was a caching issue. It's typography. Why is it looking for .ht? Oh, okay, this is why. Duh. So let's go back to home. Okay, idiot. That'd be me. So on here, the home page, we've added the includes to. So now if we click over here and we go to, say, typography, we got to the typography page correctly with that. But if we right-click on the typography page and do a view source, you'll see that the old footer with all the HTML code is still there. So now we have some work to do. What to do is we have to pull up every single file and change and put the proper includes in the right place. Now what I like to do in a situation like this is I like to pull up something like Notepad++, and I like to have in memory the things I'm going to be cutting and pasting. So I'm going to my index bar, and I'm going to grab the header include file, the tag, excuse me, and then I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I'm going to grab the footer include tag, Control C. And now what I can do is go down each one of these pages. So if I double click on 404, I see that I have a header but notice here all the HTML. That's because that's embedded in this page 404. So what I want to do is I want to highlight all of my header stuff, hit the delete key from Notepad, Control V. Come down to the bottom, delete all my footer stuff, grab the footer tag, Control V, save the file. Now if I just test this real quick, and if I go to page 404.php, there's the 404, and this should now get me to a correct page because I'm using now the included menu. Now typography PHP That's not going to get me to a good page. That still gets me to an HTML because we hadn't changed that one yet. So let's close out the 404 page. Go to the next one. Blog single. Highlight the header information. Delete it. Back to Notepad. Grab it and put it right there. Notice I didn't delete everything. Delete that. Come down to the footer section. Highlight all that. I notice I didn't grab the whole tag. Things like that will cause you problems. Grab the footer, Control C, and put that there. Save it. This was the blog single page. So now if I go to blog single post, that was, oh, I was going from typography to home. Again, not everything's been changed yet. Pages, blog single. Now that's working, showing us the right footer. And this menu should get me to typography. Okay, and it does. Okay, so now you have some work to do. What you need to do right now is put this footer include and the header include, delete it on every single page and put it in each one and make sure the whole website still works. So I'm not going to walk you through doing the blog, but you have to go blog, contact, elements, each one. We've done index, each one of these, and do those 2 steps. Delete all the header information, delete all the footer, and replace it with the proper include tag. So this should get you started.